Welcome to 1 Minute Products True Crime Edition. Today's episode explores a pivotal case that changed forensic science with AI-assisted analysis. This podcast is created for educational and entertainment purposes, with respect for all involved in these cases.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're going way back today to the beginning, well, almost the beginning of cybersecurity. We've got a really interesting story from 1988 about Robert Tappan Morris and something called the Morris worm.
Yeah.
And we'll be looking at court documents and an FBI article
Okay.
to figure out what happened and why it matters, even today.
I think people will be surprised that some of these very early cybersecurity cases really kind of set the stage for, where we are now. There's a lot of parallels.
Absolutely. So our story starts in 1988. We've got this brilliant grad student at Cornell, Robert Tappan Morris, and he creates this program, a worm.
Yeah.
And this thing spreads through computer networks all over the place like wildfire.
Yeah. And what's really fascinating here is that Morris's intention was actually not to cause damage.
Oh, really?
Or steal information. He was actually trying to expose security weaknesses in these early computer networks. So it was really more of a thought experiment that went wrong than a malicious attack.
So he was kind of like trying to be a good guy, like a Robin Hood, but digital, like finding these vulnerabilities.
Exactly, yeah. He was trying to, expose them so they could be fixed. But as we know, the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Right.
And his worm ended up replicating much faster than he anticipated.
Oh, wow.
Causing all this widespread disruption to thousands of computers.
Wow. I bet that was, can you imagine the chaos of that? Like suddenly all these computers going haywire. So how did it spread?
Yeah.
What made it so contagious?
Well, he took advantage of a number of vulnerabilities that existed in the computer systems at the time. So like bugs in programs like SendMail, that was used for email, and Fingered, which helped identify users on a network.
Okay.
He also used a technique called password guessing,
Okay.
trying different combinations rapidly until one worked.
So he was finding these cracks in the system and then slipping his worm in.
Yeah.
Like picking a lock, but digital.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Great analogy. And that brings up a really fundamental concept in cybersecurity.
Yeah.
Exploiting vulnerabilities.
Okay.
And these can be, technical flaws in the software, weak passwords, or even, human error.
Gotcha. So this worm was spreading like crazy through these vulnerabilities, but what was it actually doing?
Right.
Was it deleting files or stealing information or?
Actually, no, the Morris worm wasn't designed to destroy or steal any data.
Oh, okay.
It was really more about replicating itself, spreading, so getting as far and wide as possible.
Okay.
But even though it didn't directly damage files, it caused a lot of disruption. Computers slowed down, they crashed, became unresponsive, and this affected universities, government agencies, even military sites.
So it was more of a digital traffic jam than a demolition derby.
Exactly, yeah. And it's a good example of how you don't have to have a destructive attack to be impactful.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So disruption can often be just as damaging as destruction, especially when it comes to critical systems.
Makes sense. So we've got this guy, brilliant, but maybe a little naive, unleashes this digital storm.
Yeah.
But he didn't really mean to.
Yeah.
But what happened to him?
Right.
Did he face consequences?
He did. He actually became the first person convicted under the 1986 Computer Fraud and Abuse Act.
Wow. The first.
Yeah.
That's a landmark case. So what exactly did he do that was illegal?
Well, the case really centered around this concept of unauthorized access.
Okay.
So while Morris did have authorization to use some computer systems at Cornell, he exceeded that authorization.
Okay.
Right. So he was exploiting vulnerabilities to access systems where he didn't actually have permission to be.
So it's like having a key to your office.
Right.
But then using that key to sneak into the server room.
Yeah, exactly.
For hours.
And the legal arguments in this case really focused on that distinction. Did he just overstep his boundaries, or did he truly access computers without authorization?
And what did the court decide?
Well, they decided that Morris went beyond just exceeding his authorized access.
Okay.
His actions, exploiting these vulnerabilities,
Right.
using techniques like password guessing, really showed that he was intentionally accessing computers where he didn't have the right to be.
So even though he didn't intend to cause harm, it was still considered a crime because he crossed those boundaries, digital boundaries.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Without permission.
And that's a really important point, I think, especially, for someone who's new to cybersecurity.
Yeah.
Even if you're doing something with good intentions, you can still have serious consequences if it involves, unauthorized access to computer systems.
This is fascinating.
Yeah.
So we've got this historical case that establishes, like, a legal precedent for unauthorized access.
Mm-hmm.
What are the lessons we can learn from this, like, for the average person today?
Well, I think one of the big takeaways is that cybersecurity is about more than just technical knowledge.
Okay.
It's about understanding these ethical and legal boundaries of the digital world.
So it's not just about knowing how to protect your computer, but also knowing how to use it responsibly.
Exactly, yeah.
Gotcha.
And, the Morris worm case, it really highlights that even seemingly harmless actions, they can have unintended consequences, especially when it comes to accessing computer systems without authorization.
I'm already thinking about my own digital habits.
Yeah.
So we've talked about the legal side. What about the technical? What are some of the cybersecurity concepts that came out of the Morris worm incident?
Well, the Morris worm was a real wake-up call for the tech industry.
Yeah.
It highlighted the need for much stronger security measures, and it led to the development of, the first computer emergency response teams.
Oh, wow.
And spurred all sorts of innovations in, antivirus software, intrusion detection systems, things like that.
So this single incident actually shaped the whole field of cybersecurity as we know it.
Absolutely.
Wow.
It was a turning point, yeah. It forced everyone to start taking cybersecurity very seriously.
This has been an incredible look back.
Uh-huh.
But let's shift gears to the present.
Yeah.
How does this historical case connect to what we're facing today?
That is a great question.
Yeah.
And it's one that we are going to explore in much more detail as we continue our deep dive.
Okay, great.
So stay with us.
Okay, so we've gone over this really fascinating Morris worm case, this origin story of cybersecurity.
Yeah.
Feels like ancient history, but you're saying this is actually still relevant today.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the techniques Morris used, they might seem pretty basic by today's standards, but a lot of the underlying principles are still very much at play in modern cyber attacks.
Yep.
It's kind of like, think of it this way. He figured out how to pick a really simple lock, right? And today's attackers are using, well, they've got way more sophisticated tools, but they're still looking for vulnerabilities, those weak points, to exploit.
That makes sense. So what are some of those like modern day equivalents to what Morris was doing back then?
Well, one of the most common ways attackers get in today is something called phishing.
Okay.
And this is where they try to trick people into giving up sensitive information,
Oh, right.
like passwords, credit card numbers, through emails or websites that are designed to look legitimate.
So instead of finding like a technical flaw, they're finding a human flaw.
Exactly. Yeah, they're preying on human error, just like Morris exploited those bugs in the software.
Gotcha.
Another common tactic is ransomware.
Okay.
Have you heard of that?
I think so.
So that's where attackers will actually lock up your files,
Oh, wow.
and they demand a ransom
Oh, geez.
to release them. Like,
So they're holding your data hostage.
basically, yeah, holding your data hostage.
That is terrifying.
It is. It is.
So what can people do? Like, how do we protect ourselves from these attacks?
Well, awareness is huge.
Mm.
The first step is to just understand how these attacks work.
Okay.
That way you can start to defend against them.
Okay.
So, for example, with phishing, be skeptical. Don't just click on anything, especially if an email is asking for personal information.
Okay.
And always double check the sender's address.
Right.
Make sure it's legit.
Think before you click.
Exactly. Yeah. And when it comes to ransomware, make sure you have a good backup system.
Okay.
Because if you've got your files backed up, you're much less likely to panic and pay that ransom.
Right. That's a good point. So it sounds like a lot of cybersecurity just comes down to common sense.
Yeah.
And good digital hygiene, I guess you could call it.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. But technology also plays a really important role.
Yeah.
We've got sophisticated antivirus software, firewalls, intrusion detection systems. All these things can help protect us from from a pretty wide range of threats.
It's like an arms race almost, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
The attackers are coming up with new ways to attack,
Uh-huh.
and the defenders are trying to stay one step ahead.
It absolutely is. And that's why cybersecurity is such a dynamic and always evolving field.
Right. Okay, so back to Robert Morris.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, like, what happened to him?
Yeah.
After the conviction, like, did he become a supervillain?
Well, actually, his story takes a kind of an interesting turn.
Okay.
So after he served his sentence, which was, probation, community service, a fine, all of that, he actually went on to get a PhD in computer science.
Oh, wow.
And then later co-founded a very successful startup and actually became a really well-respected figure in the tech world.
Wow, what a redemption story.
Yeah.
Sounds like he really learned from his mistakes and used his knowledge for good.
It seems that way. And, it's a good reminder that even in the world of cybersecurity, there's always room for second chances.
That's great. So we've talked about the origins of cybersecurity, all these evolving threats, even like the redemption of this digital pioneer.
Right.
But I guess the most important question is, like, what does this mean for the listener? Like, why should they care about all this?
That's a really good question. And I think, in today's world where everyone's connected, cybersecurity is no longer just a technical issue, it's a personal issue.
Yeah, that's true.
It affects every part of our life.
Right.
Our finances, our relationships, our privacy, even our safety.
It can feel overwhelming, to think about all this.
It can.
Where do we even start?
Well, I think the first step is to just acknowledge that it is important.
Okay.
Right? It's not something to be afraid of.
Yeah.
But it's also not something that we can just ignore.
Right.
The more we understand about, this digital landscape that we're all a part of, the better equipped we are to navigate it safely.
So knowledge is power.
Absolutely, yeah. And just like we learn to lock our doors.
Yeah.
We teach our kids to be cautious of strangers in the, physical world. We need to develop those good digital habits
Right.
to protect ourselves in the online world.
That makes sense. But it can't all be on individuals, can it?
Right.
Like, what about, like, companies and governments and all that?
You're absolutely right. It's a shared responsibility, really.
Okay.
So businesses need to invest in strong security measures to protect their systems, their customer data.
Okay.
Governments need to be creating laws and regulations to help deter cybercrime and hold the attackers accountable.
So it's a team effort.
It is, yeah.
Oh.
We all have a role to play in creating this safer and more secure digital world.
It's amazing. We started with this grad student and his experiment back in 1988. And we're talking about this whole global landscape of cybersecurity today.
I know. It's pretty incredible how far it's come.
It is. And it's amazing to see how much has changed, but also how much is really kind of the same,
Yeah.
The desire to explore, to push boundaries, to connect. Those are all really fundamental human drives.
They are.
But as we venture further into this digital world, we have to be mindful of the risks and take steps to protect ourselves, each other.
Absolutely. And that actually leads us to a pretty crucial question.
Okay.
If we can learn from the past, like we've been talking about, what can we do to prepare for the future of cybersecurity?
That's a great question.
It is.
What does that future hold?
Yeah.
We'll find out as we continue our deep dive, so stay with us. Okay, so we've made it from the dawn of cybersecurity with the Morris worm all the way to today. What's next? What's the future hold?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I don't have a crystal ball, but
Right.
we can see some trends that kind of give us some clues.
Okay, so give me a glimpse into the future. What should we be prepared for?
Well, one of the biggest trends is AI, artificial intelligence.
Okay.
And, it's being used for everything.
All right, self-driving cars,
Self-driving cars,
personalized medicine.
yeah, personalized medicine. But it's got a dark side, too. Attackers are using it to create more sophisticated attacks.
It's like giving the attackers superpowers.
Kind of, yeah. They can use AI to automate attacks, make them faster, more efficient, and they can use it to analyze huge amounts of data to find vulnerabilities and even, personalize attacks.
That's pretty scary. So it sounds like we need even smarter defenses to keep up.
We absolutely do. But the good news is that, AI can be used for good, too.
Right.
Security researchers are using it to develop new tools and techniques to detect and prevent attacks. So it's this constant,
Back and forth.
yeah, back and forth, digital arms race.
Right. So it's a double-edged sword. It can be used by both sides.
Yeah.
What else is coming? What else should we be thinking about?
Well, another big trend is the Internet of Things. You've probably heard of that.
IoT, yeah.
IoT. And as more and more devices are connected to the internet, everything from
homes.
smart homes to self-driving cars, yeah, you name it,
Right.
the attack surface gets bigger and bigger.
So every new gadget is like a potential entry point for hackers.
Exactly. And because a lot of these devices, they weren't really designed with security as the top priority.
Right.
They can be easy targets.
So what do? Do we unplug everything and go off the grid?
Well, you could,
Right.
but that's not really practical for most people. I
Yeah.
think we just need to be more aware
Oh,
of
right.
of the security of the things that we're bringing into our homes.
So do your research before you buy that new smart refrigerator.
Exactly. Yeah, look for devices that have good security features.
Okay.
And make sure to keep them updated with the latest software.
Right.
Yeah.
Good advice. So AI, IoT, anything else?
You know, one thing that people don't always think about is the human element.
Oh, right.
Humans are often the weakest link in the chain.
Right, like falling for phishing scams and using bad passwords.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's bigger than that.
Okay.
Technology is getting more complex. And it's harder for people to really understand the risks.
Yeah, that's true.
And make good decisions about their security.
So we all need to be more digitally literate.
We do.
It's not just the IT guy's problem anymore.
It's everyone's responsibility.
You know, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. It's amazing to see how far we've come and how much there still is to think about.
Yeah, absolutely.
What are your final thoughts for our listeners as they navigate this crazy digital world?
Well, I think the most important thing to remember is that cybersecurity is not a destination, it's a journey.
Oh.
You know, it's about staying informed,
Right.
adapting to those new threats, and just making good choices about our digital lives.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive into the fascinating world of cybersecurity. Hopefully everyone listening found this insightful and helpful.
Yeah, and remember, knowledge is power.
That's right.
The more you understand about cybersecurity,
Yeah.
the better you'll be able to protect yourself.
Absolutely. So thanks for joining us. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and stay ahead of the curve in this digital world.